Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? It's Friday. It's Friday. Bam! Happy it's Friday? Yeah. You got the weekend to decompress, come up with some authentic ideas on how to be the best version of yourself. Maybe face some trauma you've been running from at top speed. Maybe ask God for forgiveness because you know what you've been doing. Maybe look in the mirror and look past vanity. Look past what you see and look and find what you feel. All kind of things you could do with your weekend. That was just some tips for people that complain about being bored often. You see, I'm not bored. I'm not boring either. There's always something to do. It's just up to us if we feel like doing it. But back to what I was doing this live about, avoidant attachment. That's what happened to me. I had a very anxious attachment, avoidant attachment to my father. My mother's was secure, but then it became trauma bonded with lots of different calls to DHS. Not lots, but different things, because I was a overactive child. So I would injure myself a lot. The biggest injury would be the fish tank I was crawling on when she was like 8 months pregnant with my brother and told me to get off. I had poor listening challenges, you know what I'm saying? I was impulsive. I didn't understand, and she didn't understand, that I was a creative. High energy, high arousal. I have a very curious nature that I trust, and I would follow it. I'm very adventurous. Like, that played out as a, and when it comes to being a little kid, a toddler, a little differently. A lot of chaos, a lot of injuries. And then you got a lot of people that were trying to control my mother, tell her what to do, which in some aspects is not horrible. She was young. So, sometimes older people might give you some wisdom, give you some knowledge, some tips, when it comes to a first-time parent. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about people that literally wanted to control her for whatever reasons, I know some of y'all can relate to that. I know I can. So, when it comes to attachment styles, your homework as an adult is to figure out if you have a secure attachment, which is the best one. Secure attachments means you can trust fairly easy. You're attuned to your emotions. You can communicate upsets directly, not indirectly. You get mad, now you're talking behind somebody's back. You venting. You got someone you just spill your stuff on. You don't know how to problem solve without becoming a problem yourself. It's a lot of that going on in my family. Not a fan. I'm all about the solutions, baby. Also, with secure attachment, you can lead with cooperative and flexible behavior in relationships. A lot of people don't have a secure attachment that they gained in childhood. Some of their parents come from trauma. Some of their parents is on one. Some of their parents are addicts trying to do the best they can. But then some of their parents are addicts doing the best they can based on what they want to do. And then a lot of people don't hold no one accountable, because then sometimes within our family trees, we enable. Some of the matriarchs enable. Again, you going back in time. When it comes to history, my grandmother, her mother, then her mother, then her, it's getting more, you know what I'm saying? Toxic, abuse, racism, broken people. So you're not going to see the best when it comes to going back in time. So this is an opportunity we have to challenge the narrative. But you have to do it with respect. And a lot of people struggle with that. Don't know the difference between respect and disrespect because we're all emotionally reactive, emotionally immature. Had to figure out your childhood. Maybe you had a cousin or a sibling or parent you looked up to. What if they was schizophrenic, off their meds? What if they were bipolar? What if they were oppositional defiant? Now, that's your leadership. We don't challenge that. We just get by. Not good enough. It's too much sinister behavior going on under the family trees, you know what I'm saying? Because I know I ain't the only one. Now, you got anxious attachment styles, which means you have a sensitive nervous system. If you attach to your guardian, parent, whoever it was, and They could have certain mental health challenges or certain experiences and trauma where now they're making you anxious. And these are the type of connections that you wind up getting in your upbringing. It's not your fault, but it becomes your problem and your inconvenience in adulthood. And if you don't know the difference between healthy and unhealthy, you about to be an entire fool like I was. You about to be out here playing in your own face, letting everyone else play in your face, hiding. Like, listen, you can't do that. So, again, if you have an anxious attachment style, you struggle when it comes to communicating your needs directly. That's just what goes with the territory. So if you're someone that you could be direct, but you avoid it at all costs, question it. That just because it's your normal doesn't mean it's healthy. Just because you've always been this way doesn't mean it benefits you. Get out of your own way is my free advice. Also, you tend to act out when triggered, or you like to make your partner jealous. Anxious attachment style. That's really immature. I'm someone that really I value direct communication. Don't play in my face, especially now. I could translate behavior. Which means I'm going to say less, but I'm going to do more. I can show you better than I tell you. I don't enable anymore now that I learned what that means, what that looks like, and most importantly, how it shows up in my behavior. So if you are someone that wants to be enabled, you might as well lose my number. Don't even come this way, because I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm going to respectfully decline. It's a no. Also, avoidant dismissive is an attachment style when you're a little person. Are you the avoidant dismissive type? Downplay importance of relationships. Let's say it's someone that means a lot to you, but your goal is to make them think they're replaceable. Manipulation. This is why I feel a way about manipulation. A lot of the people I've encountered, unfortunately, were really good at manipulating. Some people wind up being born with certain talents, I'll say. And talents, we can use them dark or light, good or bad, positive or negative. We get to choose. That's why God gave us free will. You get to choose how you use your talents. I'm saying. But when you're avoidant, dismissive, it's usually extremely self-reliant. So you have trouble asking for help. You could be drowning, and then you're all in your head thinking, ain't nobody caring about me. They see me out here. No, you ain't opened your mouth because you're avoidant. That's how you attached in childhood, and then you grew up with that injury. So now you want people to read you. But you don't understand, if they're from trauma, that's called hypervigilant scanning. It's exhausting. It overworks the nervous system. It's much easier if you open your mouth and get out your own way. Stop trying to create psychics. You got to learn to use your words and put some respect on it. People really are disrespectful nowadays when it comes to verbal communication. I'm just saying. Also, when it comes to avoidant, dismissive attachment styles, you're vulnerable when there is a big crisis. Oh my God. I don't know how many times I was out with a family member and they were vulnerable during a time of crisis. Basically, they're not available. I had to go into full mode of fight or flight. Let me handle this situation. The relative over there is freezing up. They're crying. They're melting down. I know how to navigate those type of situations. And there's a lot of people in my life that don't. They don't know how to navigate traumatic situations. They cower, or they get re-triggered back to their childhood where they never did the work, and now they're full-fledged adults running from situations, manipulating others to handle their problems, all kind of things. Breaks my heart. But I'm doing the work to learn these things so I can do better. Are you? That's the question. Another one, avoidant, fearful, which is another attachment style. Are you avoidant and fearful? Is that how you show up? So basically, you're more dependent in relationships than avoidant, dismissive. So your dependency levels is sky high. Completely sky high. Strongly fears rejection. That is such a trigger for me. I had challenge with rejection because my father set me up for the approval trap. Let me let you know what that means. So he didn't say, hey baby, I'm going to set you up with the approval trap. This is how it worked. There was no explanation. So basically, I would behave a certain way and look for his praise, his validation, his care, his whatever. Originally, he would respond a way that I guess felt welcoming when I was very young. That eventually went away with bad behavior, substance abuse, alcoholism, toxic masculinity. So now I don't know all that. I'm a kid. So now I'm trying to get approval from this man that's not available, not emotionally available, not available to me. He's too busy chasing cheeks and crack. I'm just saying, I'm keeping it a bean. If you in your feelings, respectfully, swipe past me because I'm not changing my tune. But this needs to be said. If we're going to really get work done, you got to call out the problem. Because when I first started videos, I didn't call them out. I said, let me do this without putting him out there first. There's levels to this stuff. It's called growth, folks. So yeah, you got peep game. Also, has low self-esteem. That was definitely me. Some might not think that because I was always into my looks and glam and dressing up. But that's just because I value that. It's actually a skill of mine. I'm very creative